Hey everyone, I'm back from my trip to South America. So first of all, I have to apologize for disappearing on you for so long. I also want to thank those of you who follow me on Instagram because you basically joined me on my adventure. So I have a whole backlog of topics I want to talk about, some of which have been suggested by you guys, which are great ideas. But today I decided to focus again on Chanel and specifically size and fit. So for those of you who've seen my video where I've reviewed my Chanel collection, you'll know that I currently own 3 bags. I feel that collectors either go in 2 different directions. So for example, some collectors, they have their favorite bag and they like to get the same model in different colors, in different materials, in different sizes. Other collectors like myself, I like to have as much variety in my wardrobe as possible, and so as a result I've opted for very different aesthetics, such as this vintage jumbo with vertical quilting or this vintage backpack. Next year I'm actually planning my first tweed Chanel bag alongside potentially plexiglass if I can justify the cost, so I'll keep you updated on how that goes. I generally find that when you first start collecting bags, it's all about the aesthetic and what looks nice on you. But for me, over time, the difference between the bags which I use a lot versus what I use very rarely, and also the difference between what I get my money out of versus what's sitting on my shelf collecting dust, is how well this bag matches my lifestyle. It all comes down to whether the size is useful or a nuisance, and whether I can fit everything I need in it for my events. So right before I jump into everything, thank you so much to my subscribers for your love, your support, and your extreme amounts of patience. I really hope you find this useful. In looking at what can fit in my bags, I have to admit I was missing a few props. So I hope you understand some items are symbolic. For example, I've been using this umbrella, and this is very much the same size as a 500 or 600 ml water bottle. So if this fits, that means your water bottle fits. I also went through a phase where I had so many membership cards that I was carrying around a second wallet. So if you're like me, or you have a second phone because of work, for example, then if you see this packed away, it means you can fit in that extra phone or wallet. And finally, I'm not someone who carries antibacterial hand gel, but this is representative of a pack of tissues because unfortunately I don't have that with me. The whole range of double flap bags are quite deceptive in that they look like they're much more spacious than they actually are. As you can see from this photo, this is realistically what I can squeeze into my bag. To try and maximize space, I also fit the compact mirror in the back pocket, which is very tight. What is rather ironic if you own Chanel lipstick is that even though the diameter of it fits in your designated compartment, the height of it won't let your bag close. If I switch to another brand like MAC, it's perfectly fine, and since the 2 lipsticks are the same height, I think it just comes down to Chanel's blocky lid shape. For those of you that have a second wallet or second phone, the good news is that it can fit. By maxing out the width of the bag, you can squeeze in this accessory, and you only have to sacrifice something small, such as the symbolic tissues, to make it work. Whether you pack it the first way or the second, I can guarantee you that it is completely full, to the extent that the interior buttons cannot line up. They're a good 3 centimeters apart in this photo. Looking at these photos, you might think that there's a little bit extra room at the top, but you've actually got to leave it open in order for the flap to wrap around and close with the lock. My sunglasses case cannot fit in the medium double flap at all, and I personally wouldn't carry the sunglasses without the case because the flowers might imprint on the delicate lambskin leather. So if you're somebody who likes to carry more than what I've just shown you in those photos, I highly recommend you don't go any smaller than medium, because medium to me already is just enough for my absolute bare essentials and nothing else. On my body, I find medium really flattering, and I can't imagine it looking wrong on anyone, no matter your height or size. For reference, I've listed myself. I consider myself medium to slightly short, so you can see it complements my frame really well. If you get the small size, it will start to look a bit cute on you, while the medium is still quite chic and elegant. Of course, you all know about the double chain feature. I generally always wear the bag as a double strap on my shoulder or held in my hand, rather than on a single chain at my hip. Since lambskin is a delicate leather and prone to dents and scratches, I like to keep it close to my body and protected. I almost never wear it as a single chain. It just feels wrong to have this soft buttery leather bumping and grinding against my behind. The single chain can just work crossbody. I've seen it on some celebrities, but for me personally, I just find it super awkward. I don't think I'm pulling it off. From memory, I believe the chain on the small size is much longer so that it can work a lot more seamlessly crossbody. To give you a little bit of background, the vintage jumbo single flap is slightly different in size to the double flap jumbo. Many Chanel enthusiasts like to buy vintage single flaps because the bags end up more spacious. That's definitely the case here. Of course, the jumbo easily fits your second wallet or second phone. The window surface is the perfect width for the vintage jumbo, but it's 1 centimeter too tall. So in order for you to close the flap, you need to compensate by leaving the rest of the bag quite empty at the top. The back pocket is great for cards, and to give you an indication of the thickness of what you could fit in there, it can also accommodate my wallet. However, even though the jumbo can fit that much, you would never pack it that way because it would just be ridiculously heavy for you. As I've mentioned in my other Chanel review video, these chains are all made out of solid brass, which means there is serious weight even when this bag is empty. Here I've chosen caviar leather, which is more durable than lambskin, and therefore I felt like it was a wiser choice for a bigger bag which I can't really protect. But even then, I feel like it's just wrong to pack the bag to its maximum point because that will really stress out the vintage leather. From that perspective, I do recommend that instead you pack large bulky items which have very low weight. So here, for example, is my scarf and also this bright yellow cardigan, which I don't wear, but I have this as a prop. This utilizes the abundant space available without adding so much weight to an already heavy bag and precious leather. For sunglass lovers, of course, there's no issue fitting your case in the jumbo. You just need to remove some small accessories to make it work. Referencing again my size, I would say jumbo is the absolute maximum that would look natural on me. Anything larger like the maxi would just look ridiculous. If you're smaller than me, the jumbo may already start to look too overwhelming on your frame. I love the look of this bag. It's quite formal, feminine, but commanding. Yet it is a bag whose size starts to compete and demand attention over my outfit. So when I'm in a nice dress, I tend to hold this bag below so it doesn't block out what I'm actually wearing. Again, even though there's a double chain strap and 2 ways to wear it, I always prefer keeping it under my arm protected. As a single strap, this bag is way too long whether I wear it as a shoulder strap or crossbody. Even if you're a lot taller than me, I think you might experience the same problem. So what I do recommend here is taking a piece of ribbon and shortening the length of your chain underneath the flap so it's not visible to anyone. This ribbon is from the Chanel boutique. I apologize, I'm terrible at tying ribbons, so this is probably not the best result. You can do better. After conducting this whole packing exercise, I've been really impressed and really surprised at what I can fit into my vintage backpack. Visually, I've always seen it as similar in size to my medium double flap, yet as you can see from this photo, it can actually fit every single item I take around with me in my jumbo. Of course, no issue here fitting in the sunglasses case, But I did find that this time I couldn't fit exactly what I put into the jumbo, which was my scarf. So I replaced it instead with a whole heap of miscellaneous little items. I like to use a small front pocket for a compact mirror and lipstick. The good news here is that Chanel does fit. Another option for what can fit in that front pocket, to give you an idea, is your keys and your portable bag holder. I never use a drawstring. It just seems wrong to make delicate vintage lambskin wrinkle. It hurts me to do that. The really awesome thing about the backpack design is that even though we're looking at the same solid brass chains that we had on the vintage jumbo, the way the weight is evenly distributed across your shoulders means that it feels so much lighter in this bag. With the extra space, this really functions as a comfortable day pack. If you need to pack some sunscreen or your water bottle or your sunnies, don't worry, you can fit it in and you can be prepared for changing conditions during the day. Just one tip if you're OCD about bag care. The only annoying thing with this bag design is that when it's not full, the leather at the back will slouch and bunch up. This over time causes irreversible creases to the leather, which is what happened when I bought it secondhand from its previous owner. To minimize this creasing when I wear the bag out, I like to bring something bulky and light just for the sake of actively stuffing it, for example my scarf. For those of you who like to wear your bags for a few seasons and then resell, possibly to finance a new bag purchase, it's little habits like these which make a big difference and help to keep your bags in the best condition so that you can get extra money for it when you're selling. In terms of fit, it's super cute. Again, whether you're taller or shorter than me, bigger or smaller, I think the dimensions of this bag were chosen so that it would always look undersized on anyone and always adorable. The natural weight of the bag means it always sits low on your back. In my group of friends, I'm never the one who has tissues or antibacterial hand gel. In other words, I'm someone who travels really light and, in my opinion, only with the essentials. But even then, I find the medium double flap to be way too restrictive and too bare. It's also very puzzling for me that for a bag of this size, which is not small, it actually can't fit that much. I mainly use this bag for dressier occasions such as a lovely wedding, but even then I have never had a single wedding card that I could even fit into this bag. And as you know, with those events, your wedding card has hundreds and hundreds of cash in it. So it's actually a very frustrating fact that I can't even protect gift money securely. I've heard it in reviews before I got this bag and I totally agree that it's overall quite impractical and inflexible in terms of use, but especially over time as you own this bag, that will get more and more frustrating. Of course, this is still a gorgeous classic bag and in the holy grail of designer bags, and I'm sure if you've been saving up for one, what I'm saying will not stop you. However, what it will mean is that you will probably end up using this bag a lot less than what you would like, because you know that half the time the items will have to be handheld or be in another little carry bag, or you'll have to give it to your husband or your boyfriend for them to put into their suit pockets. My vintage jumbo is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It's so large and spacious, I don't know what to do with it. If you're a girl who carries a lot, then it probably will suit you, but do your best to pack bulky, large items rather than something dense and heavy, as that will stress the leather over time alongside give you incredible shoulder pains. However, if you're a girl who packs light like me, then most likely this bag will sit on your shelf all year round as it does mine. This large boxy bag is also something I find works best with my smart casual outfits. The moment I'm in something more dressed up or more delicate, this large bag is just sort of hiding my silhouette and it's sort of blocking that perfect view when I want to get photographed. My vintage backpack is the perfect size for me and I simply cannot complain about it. It can fit the small luxuries such as a water bottle if you're going to be out for 6 or 8 hours a day, alongside a little hat or an umbrella if you think the weather's going to change. It looks compact and cute with any size. It doesn't block the best angles of you like the jumbo does. I love with this bag how you can fit everything you need plus a few more items, which keeps it versatile and flexible. So everyone, thank you so much for your time today. This is definitely a different type of video for me because I got off the bed, so I wasn't lazy, and as a result I also had to get out of my work clothes. For my next video, I'm going to do an updated shoe collection review because I recently added 2 block heels, and I also want to change the format. I want to get off the bed, I want to model my shoes for you, maybe show you a few more outfits. So thank you so much for your time. Take care. See you next month.